Been a lot on your plate, but I got what you need. You need a praise break. Get your praise on. Get your praise on. Get your praise on. Get your praise break. Get your praise on. Get your praise on. Get your praise on. Praise break. Get your praise on. Get your praise on. Get your praise on. Get your praise break. Get your praise on. Get your praise on. Get your praise on. Hallelujah. 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 I can't help but praise. 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 3, 2, 1, go! Get your praise on. 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 Praise break. Get your praise on. Get your praise on. Get your praise on. Get your praise on. Break. Get your praise on. Get your praise on. Get your praise on. I wanna sit down and get up. I wanna sit down and get up. I wanna sit down on God. 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 All right now.
Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. Thank you so much. Welcome to your Noonday with Alicia Faye. I am so honored to be the host here at the Queen's Corner. Today, I am excited. I have my BFF that's going to be, my husband is my BFF as well, but this is like my BFF before I got married. Antonio Singleton is going to be with us. We're going to be talking about dating after divorce. And so I'm so excited that, ladies, you guys get to get a male's perspective on just how he encountered dating and women after divorce and in the dating scene. And so if you ever been divorced and had to just start all over, just knowing who you are, getting to know other people, it's very challenging. So today I'm excited that Antonio is here live with us. And we're going to talk about it. So we're going to bring him in. And I want you guys to give him a warm Queen's Corner welcome. Thank you guys who are watching. Thank you guys who's going to watch the replay. I want to once again say thank you to We Build Construction, the Palace Housing, HD Communication Networks, Lash and Rubbish, who support the Queen's Corner. Thank you guys for your support. I really appreciate you guys so much. All right, without further ado, let's bring in my BFF, Antonio, to the hi, Antonio. Hi, thank you. I'm doing well. So I kind of briefly talked about before I got married, you and I would hang out. We were neighbors, actually. And so you and I and Cousin Grace, the three amigos, you and I and Cousin Grace, we all lived in the same complex, and we would hang out, and you and I and Cousin Grace became really close. I think we fed you for a few years while you was look, we fed you for a few years while you were single and just helped you out with that eating and hanging out, right? So I'm so excited that you're here. Talking about dating after divorce, or just dating in the 21st century. Now we're in 2021. And so, like, what is that like? I can't even imagine. I know when I was on the dating scene, because you were with me when I was dating, and you and I would have these conversations about how it was weird and how it was different, and how sometimes dating, some people always have a motive that was not good, right? So I'm excited that you and I get to really dive in and share some conversations that we had off camera with our viewers and people that are watching. So thank you guys who are watching. Thank you guys. We're happy that you're here. And let's start this conversation. Antonio, how have you been? How have you been?
I've been good. I think I'm better now. this day and age in my life, yes, very much so.
All right, so
Very
let's start. So I, because you and I pretty much for many years we kind of grew up together, right? Like we would hang
yeah,
out
yeah,
all the time. Like if we weren't working, we were hanging out together. As a matter of fact,
yeah,
I introduced you to your wife. We were actually hanging out one day, and I introduced you to a young lady that I know we won't go into names and all that. However, I introduced you to a young lady that I knew that we just kind of, while we were hanging out,
yeah.
we saw her. Um, let's talk about, let's back up and
But you
talk
got,
about.
but yeah, but yeah, but if you're gonna tell that story, then you need to tell the
I'm gonna
story
let you
like it
tell
goes though, because we actually met on
it.
we actually so so I had probably went to work. You had been busy all day doing stuff with your decorating skills, and I got off. We both was off around the same time, and so we was like, let's hang out. So I think we went to like PL Chan or something and ate. Probably my first time eating raw fish, eating raw fish or whatever. And so we was after we done finished over there, we got ready to leave. And you seen your friend going down the highway or whatnot, and you blew the horn or whatever. So make a long story short, I used to always tell people like when they be like, "How y'all met?" So we met on the side of the road. That's where I got the number from on on the side of the road or whatever.
Really,
So
for real, on the
and
side of the road,
yeah,
Highway 6 and I-10.
yeah, side of the road. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I wound up marrying them. Yeah.
I want you to back up because next month we're going to be celebrating Mother's Day. And I
Hmm.
know, but those who watch and don't know that you lost your mom at a young age. So let's talk about
Yeah.
um, your mom and what you knew of her before we go into dating, because that kind of coincides of how you dated and chose women to date.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your mom. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna say that's what made me choose women to date, but because of the experience. But I will say this: my mom was a very, very Christian lady. Like she was. We went to the Church of God in Christ back in the day, and that's all she lived and talked about. She was very anointing, very gifted. Um, I remember as a kid, we used to have the song book, and we wind up, I would say, adopting this song because that's the song that we would sing as a family in church. You know, sometimes they'll have well in church they'll have the part where like somebody can start singing or turning it up or whatever, and that would be our song. It's not your mother, it's not your father, but it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. And that's
Yes.
a song that we would sing every time that we would sing or whatever. But my mom was a loving woman. She would give a person her last. Um, she was like, man, awesome, awesome. So for the 13 years I had with her was amazing. And don't get me wrong, as a kid, boys they start smelling themselves, they bad and they talk back or whatever. But she was quick to put in line, so that didn't go too far. And I remember as a kid, she told me she sat me down one day, and I died. I died. She died when I was 13. Uh, but we had a conversation. I don't remember the age, but I remember her saying like, she said, if you ever find a wife, don't treat them like your daddy treated me. And I'm young,
Wow.
so it's
Wait,
like
wait. I
I'm
want
not
you to come,
knowing.
hold on. Before you move on, I want you to come closer to your mic because I want them to hear you really clear when you say, because this is good. Your mom said to you, what did Mom Singleton say to you?
She said, when you find a wife, don't treat her like your dad treated me.
Wow.
And as a kid, it's like, what does that mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? You never said anything like he was abusive or whatever. And I remember, dad, and rest in peace to my dad too. My dad died February of this year, so rest in peace, dad. But I just remember her saying that, and me as a kid not knowing what that really meant. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I never heard her say anything about him abusive, and I would know like he would come over. You know what I'm saying? Stay the night or whatever. So, and for years I would always think about like, what does that mean? What does that mean? You know, and when my mom died, we had to move my dad. So it was like, you know, I never see what she was talking about.
Right.
But oh
Until you moved in.
yeah,
Until you moved in
oh
with
yeah,
him. Wow. Wow.
oh,
So
yeah.
so I know that I know I mean just from our conversations, just hanging out, I know that you loved your mom. And then I
Yeah.
know after your mom passed, you having to transition and move with your dad. Did
Hmm.
you ever see or like some of his behaviors? Did you wonder, oh, that's what my mom probably was talking about?
No, my dad worked two jobs.
Hmm.
He had a wife, and he worked two jobs. Like every time I seen him, he was at work.
Hmm.
Every time I knew he was going somewhere, it was work. And he would take me, my sister and I, with him on weekends. We would go to our family house that stayed like 30, 40 minutes away. We would just go
Hmm.
and all day and chill or whatever. So I never
Wow.
seen anything that was like, okay, this is what she was talking about. So, I still was young, still young.
So let's talk about your mom has passed. You are now living with dad.
Hmm.
So how many like
Hmm.
where are you as far as siblings? Like where are you? Are you the firstborn, the third, the fourth? How many siblings do you have and where do you
Well, so my mom had three kids. I got an older brother, uh, and I got a baby sister. Well, she's
Miss
like my
Tina?
big sister, but she's younger than me. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
So,
love
and
Tina.
then my dad
She's so
have a son. Yeah, my dad have a son. Yeah, my dad have a son. So, yeah.
all right. So now life is going on. So originally tell us where you're from. Where were you born and raised? Like where are you from?
I'm originally from Mississippi. I was born in a town called Indianola, Mississippi. People
Hey,
call it
represent
the North. Yeah, people know it as the Delta. Blues, like man, like blues. Blues is like wake up in the morning, like that start your day. Like that's that Saturday morning blues all day. So I'm from
so
a town
music
called
was a big
Indianola,
part.
Mississippi.
Oh, sorry, go
Oh
ahead.
yeah, yeah. From the Delta, when you from the Delta, like they call it crossroads, 82 and 49, or 82 and 49 cross. Um, that's what it's known for. BB King, um, and they got other musicians, other talents that's there. People who played NFL, NBA, you know. So small
Wow.
town have, they always say small town have some big talent. They have
That's
big
right.
talent.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I know that to be true because I'm from Louisiana and there's a lot of amazing athletes and artists, um, and just people that came from Louisiana as well. All right, so let's talk about the dating. So now, fast forward, I introduced you to your wife, which is now your ex-wife. How was
Hmm.
dating after divorce? And that's one of the things that I wanted to, that's primarily what our conversation is going to be. But I wanted them to get a little background about who you were, where you were from, and
Hmm.
like, because I know one thing, you would talk about your mom so much. So I wanted to, you to share that. Let's talk about dating. Tell us a little bit as a male perspective, because we have a lot of females, we have a lot of queens that come on the Queen's Corner, and I know next month we are dedicating a lot of time to like shout outs to moms, right? And I want you to
Hmm.
talk about just dating after divorce and how you did you
Well, hey,
were you looking for someone that was like mom, or what was that for you?
well, that's kind of the thing. Like, well, your mom took care of you as a kid, so of course you want somebody that you'll be dealing with that's gonna be a nurturer, you know. And so that's kind of something that I look for if they got kids, to see how well they take care of their kids, and because if they take care of their kids, they're good mother to their kids, they'll be a good spouse for you, you know. So that is something that I kind of look for, um, and also look for how their relationship with mom is. That's a big deal breaker for me. Like, if your relationship is tainted with your mom, like, chances are I won't talk to him, you know,
So you don't
because
date women that
somebody who
don't have
cares,
a healthy relationship with their mom?
nah. Unless it was a circumstantial situation where, like, their
Right.
mom gave them up from adoption, or, something like that. But just y'all raised in the same household and y'all just can't get along, whatever. Nah,
Uh-huh.
I can't do it. And I stand on that.
Wow. Well, why do you think that you had that mindset? If a woman don't get along with her mom or respect her mom, I know that you grew up in a Christian home. So was it because of your Christian morals,
Right.
and you know how the Bible talks about honoring your mom, your mother, and your father? And so was that the piece that you took?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's big too. Like, that's a major factor too. But at the same time, you got to think about that this woman carried you for 9 months, another living soul in her body for 9 months. And in order for you to have your health and strength, yeah, we know it comes from the Lord above, but also care for this woman, caring for that child inside her. Making
Right.
sure that you ate. You know what I'm saying? That's big to me. That's like, and I can't stand it for a person to disrespect their mom after she her body went through this change. I done gained a
You.
few extra pounds because I done carried you. You know what
Come
I'm saying?
on. That's
Yeah,
it. I ain't got all these extra marks, stretch marks, bullet wounds,
I'm
and all
telling
this.
you.
You gonna act up?
Yes.
So tell us. Let's talk about it. I know that dating. How was dating? Now, you were married, you got divorced, and now you're divorced. How was it going back on the dating scene?
Well, the dating scene, I don't know, cause like for me, when you be married for so long, like you don't think about dating. You can't prepare yourself to date because you so used to coming home to this wife of yours, or to your family, and it's
Yeah.
like, well, dang, now I don't have this, so now I got to try to get back in the swing of like selling yourself, like you selling yourself to me, like you like a used car, or a new car. But you can't be a new car because you've been married already, So you like a used car now, so they're gonna open the door, making sure the car ain't leaking, the engine ain't leaking, the tires ain't flat on it, make sure the windows roll up and down, the back seat, the seat recline and all that. It's just like you're a vehicle. You trying to,
So is it? So did women treat you like? So did you find when you were going on date and back on the dating scene, was it like this interviewing process? Like you felt like you were on an interview?
yes. But I have to say this, and I have to be honest. I never sugarcoat it. You and I never sugarcoat anything. We always
No,
keep it 100.
that's right.
After that divorce, I should have stood. I should stood still and waited. I should have just prayed about life. I should have seek God for more knowledge and wisdom and understanding about my life versus
That's good.
going on the internet, meeting a woman, uh, because I tell you, the enemy come in all shapes and forms. Like, it doesn't matter what. Because one thing we know for sure, right? When God has a calling on your life and you're not walking that calling, the enemy knows that. See, he's
Yes.
not gonna. He's not, and I'm not trying to go there, but he's not going to tempt you with alcohol if you know you're not a wine, right? You follow me? So the enemy is going to
Follow it.
tempt you with what he knows you like and what's drawn to you and what you're drawn to, right? So for
It's
me,
true.
that goes back to, the daddy, right? Uh, and me, a kid, and not knowing what is this my mom was talking about. My dad liked the women, right? Because as I got older, he started talking to me, you know. And I take it maybe I wasn't old enough for him to hold these conversations that he felt like. But then as I got older, we had the conversation.
Okay.
And the conversation was at one time, rest in peace to my dad, I'm telling you business. But at one time, he had like, I'm serious, like this guy told me this, my dad told me this one time, he had 8 women.
At one
in
time.
one building. At one time, within these 8 women in one building. Yeah. And so,
Well, did you try to be like your dad in those regards, wanting to have multiple women?
And I didn't get into the details about, the multiple women and how, like what he had going on. I just knew he told me he had 8 women in one building.
Have you ever done something like that? Since we keeping it real.
I'm not gonna say I had 8, but I had my share.
So and why I asked that question? Why I asked that question? Because really a lot of women that are single, and then I've been through it as well. We want to know I guess I'm going to ask this question. Why do men feel like they have to have a slew of women instead of one good woman? Tell us from your.
So for me, right? I'm gonna talk about me, right? So if I'm with you, then I'm with you, like wholeheartedly. Mind is there, my body's there, like everything is there. Focus. We don't have conversations, and like when I was married, I never cheated, none of that. I'm focused. But when I'm not, I'm in a relationship. It's like you got to see what's out there for you. And
right.
it can be a gift and it can be a curse too. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody that you're looking or out there being entangled with is not the one for you or for you. And I ran across those too. So
that's one thing that I want to ask real quick. I'm gonna stop you right there because I want to know, like, because I kind of know. However, when you out as a believer, because you're a believer, when you out dating, what are those just I'm not well, we know that you won't date a woman that disrespects her mom. But like what are some of your just red flags? No, this is not the one. Because I know that you've probably experienced it. I know when I was single, a lot of times it was hard. It was, and I'm not going to say hard, it was very challenging. Because a lot of times men wanted certain things like I know that what do you kind of want to bring to the table, right? Which is good because you always should bring something to the table. But I've had several conversations, and sometimes even though you are everything that a man is looking for, they still want something else. Myself and several women that I speak to, we really don't know, like, what is the deal when you find someone that is a good woman, that keeps a clean home, that keeps herself together, that is kind of self-sufficient. Why do you think it's always they want something else or they want somebody else. Like they're not satisfied and complacent with just one good thing. They want a multiple, like they want a multiple of women. Why do you think that is? Just from your perspective, this is not like, oh, you know all the answers, but like from your perspective, why do you think?
I'm not.
That, all right, I'm gonna ask you another question.
To you like this, I ain't gonna never find. I ain't gonna wait. Come on, answer this, because if I keep talking like this, I ain't gonna never find a good woman or a good wife because they gonna feel like he ain't changed. But listen, so women are like, it's like, man, it's like it's different. It's like you going into a store and you looking for fruit, and it's like one feels like, man, this is just right, and it's just right. And then you got one over here that's like, oh, this is pretty too, and this is firm, and it's like, it's just, I don't know. It's like when you see them, it's like, ah, women are beautiful. Like women are so beautiful, like, man, and it's just a different variety. It's like every woman is different. It's like it's just different, and it just all depends on your preference. You know, it all depends on your preference. I would always say to my wife is that we all want to see somebody out there that we're attracted to, but doesn't mean that we want to sleep with them, right? When a man go and cheat, right? Chances are it's something that's not being fulfilled at home. Is it? It's something that's not being fulfilled at home.
You know, you and I have these conversations. We used to have these conversations all the time. Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up. Even if a man is married, right, and they're not being fulfilled at home, why not just tell your woman, your wife, your queen, honey, this is what I need, or this is what I'm not feeling, like my love tank is empty in this area. Like, I don't understand, and I'm not coming on you because I know it's like this. Wait, let me finish. Why not, or why don't men just say to their wives or to their women, like, this is what I need from you, or this is where I feel empty, or this is where I feel I need more, whatever it is they need. I think that if a man says that to, and I don't know who's on and I don't know who's watching, but I'm thinking somebody would agree with me. I'm gonna go ahead and throw some hearts up for myself, because just tell us what you need, and prayerfully that woman is gonna provide what you need instead of you going out somewhere else, because going out somewhere else starts a whole nother gamut of issues and problems.
But here's the thing about when it comes down to the relationship that you be in, right? If you then start off with that type of communication, it's kind of tough after being with somebody a month or a year, and then all of a sudden now it's like, but this is what I like, but I ain't going to tell you that communication part is kind of tanked at that point because you didn't start off that way, right?
So you think that
most men?
Okay, go ahead. No, I was going to say, so you think, like when you said that, which is good, communication is important, but what if we didn't start off talking about that? Is there a leeway where we could kind of interject and like we can have those conversations?
Yeah, you got to find that. You got to find that good day, where what I call a good day, when you know things are going good around the house and y'all just sitting down, chopping it up and smiling. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, you know, baby, you know, I really like when you try biting on my ear or something. You know, because the first thing the woman is gonna be like, oh, you like something different now. Where you get that from? You know what I'm saying? That's the first thing a woman gonna say. But where you get that from? You ain't been doing that at first. And see, men are afraid. Some men, I'm not gonna say all, but men are afraid to tell a woman what they really like.
Why?
You know, I can't answer that for them.
Tell,
I
tell
can't
us,
answer them.
tell us why you don't do it. If there's something that you need.
Because the thing about it is, I mean, I don't do it for the simple fact that I'm open book. I know what I like, you know, I'm secure within myself on what I like. And I feel like that's a part of what goes wrong in marriages and relationships because everybody's not secure. Even that woman, she might not be secure in what she likes and afraid to tell him what she likes. You know,
Right. And
people
so,
look at men as like, oh, they macho, they too hard, or you know what I'm saying. If you want a woman to be rough, then just tell them you like a woman look, you know, hey, baby, you need to get a little, you know, little rough around the edge or something. You know, that's what I like. You know, tell them. Don't be afraid to tell them what you like.
right.
And I think
I
that's
agree.
a key too.
I agree. I agree with that. So let's talk about like the dating scene. Like I'm no longer on the dating scene, thank the Lord. However, like how has dating been for you? Like just getting back out there and tell me a little bit of what you've experienced. Like what kind of like the with the women? Like how has that been, the experience?
Okay, well, after my marriage, got a divorce, and I met another lady. And I didn't marry her. I didn't marry her, but we dated or whatnot for a minute, and it was different. You know, it was different, very different. It wasn't something that I was used to. You know, and by me being the person I was, for when I'm with you, I'm with you. So I'm gonna make sure I stay and stand in, and make sure that I being into the end, so I can't be in it no more. And so it was different. I didn't date uh, multiple women because, like I said, when I'm with someone, I'm with them, and I don't just go and just flip like a fish and
Right,
flopping and flopping. I don't
right,
do that.
right.
So we started dating, and we wound up moving in together, and it was different because I seen one side. Then once I actually moved in where I seen another side.
Okay.
Uh, and that's the part about when you was talking about telling why do men go and do the things that they do. And when I was dealing with her, it was like she stayed gone all the time. You know, she stayed gone all the time. And granted, she worked, but then I would go to work, come home, and she would hit me with like, "Oh, um, we got invited out, but I know you tired, so I'm just gonna go and go. And I know you want to get your rest." So I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." So after a couple of those, I said, "You know what? I'm done." And that put me back out there, like because you had me, but then when I started looking at your tactics and your game that you was playing, then I'm not gonna stand for that.
So
So
do you think women play a lot of games? You know, we like a lot of times women give men a bad rap. And not all men. So I want to make that clear. It's not all men, and so that's my disclaimer. However, do you think that women play a lot of games? Some women.
I think that women, I think that all women, right? All women. When I say all, I mean all.
Well, you can't put all
Let's go
women
back
in one
to
category.
let's go back to this. Let's go down this lane. So we already know that girls mature faster than boys, right?
Yes.
And I should have followed on this, right? So girls already mature faster than boys, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now they're at their womanhood, right? When they already mature faster than us, so therefore that means that woman's way mature than that man. You know, while we want to stay and play video games, that's why like now I don't have no video game no more. Because I'm sitting here playing a video game, I'm getting left behind by a woman. No. So that's out. So we're sitting here trying to catch up. And these women are already ahead of us, and we sitting here trying to catch up. They already fast. They already mature faster than us now. So when I say all women know that they're one step ahead of us all the time.
Mhm.
And I don't care what men disagree with me. Women's always one step ahead of us. Point blank
Amen.
period. You can't knock
I'm
it. You can't take
amen.
it from y'all. And I always say y'all are one step ahead of us because y'all mature faster than we do. Now I can say this because when the women I are dealt with was sleep, I'm woke. So while they on their downtime, I'm up trying to catch up. Y'all stay step ahead of us at all times. And that's facts.
That is facts. And you know what? I think a lot of times, we, like you said, even as young girls, we have just been programmed and taught. As a young girl, you are given a baby doll. You are given tea sets and like little these little bake sets. Like they are training us to be women and mommies and independent and taking care of houses and homes. So that's all.
Not to cut you off.
We know.
Not to cut you off, but here's another one, right? If you would take your audience, your fans, right, and you do a survey,
we should do one.
How many women have planned their wedding at an early age, and how many men have thought about being married at an early age? And I guarantee you that ratio is going to be a landslide.
Absolutely. Because even as young girls, we already in our mind fantasizing about our white picket fence and our weddings and all, like we are legitly programmed to do those things. Like in my day, like I don't know how these millennials flow because they are totally cut from a different cloth. However, I know from like in my time and with the women and the young ladies that I grew up with, that was how we were just brought up. Like preparing us, like I was prepared to be a mom before I was even a mom, actually, because I was given my first Cabbage Patch doll, and so now I'm responsible for this doll, and I took it seriously. Like this is a true story, and I would take care of my Cabbage Patch, and I was a good mom to my Cabbage Patch dolls, all of them. And I would teach my dolls how to read, and they couldn't even talk back to me. But I'm just telling you the mind frame of how we are prepared to be nourishers and to nourish at a young age. Like, I mean, that's just what it is.
Now, so here's a Bigfoot takeover, right? You know, my name's Antonio, but you know, y'all call me Bigfoot. So here's a Bigfoot takeover.
Okay.
But I want to flip the script. Right, so now I want to sit in the Queen's Corner seat, right? Why? Because I want to ask you a question, Queen. Why is it that women feel that it's when they have an 80% do? Because there's no 100% guy out here. There's no 100% guy out here in this world. I don't care what nobody says. No 100%. That 20% lacks something. Right? Why do women still feel the need to give up that 80% guy? Why do they do that?
The same reason that y'all give up the 80% woman. Yeah. And so here's one thing, and then I can't speak for all women, but I'm going to speak for myself. And kind of like you and I have had this conversation, and I know that you are loyal to a fault. I am loyal to a fault. However, when you are betrayed, when you have been cheated on, when you have been battered and beaten down, like at some point you want something different, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's you want something different from that same person or you want something different from another individual, right? However, it's just sometimes I do believe, they say that people outgrow each other. Yeah, that could be true. However, if that's why I had to learn this the hard way. When there's an issue or when there's something like my husband and I, we have this thing where we don't only work on our marriage, we work in our marriage, meaning that we take time to get away and just we ask each other weekly on weekly dates, how's your love tank? Meaning, like, what can I do? Because like I don't depend on Torrance making me happy. That's something that just comes from inward. Like that's just something that I'm responsible for.
But real quick, say that one more time. Please say that one more time.
Which part?
You don't depend on Torrance to make you happy.
Absolutely not.
And I think that a lot of women need to hear that, because they're so caught up into this fantasy where this man's supposed to make them happy. You don't understand how big that is.
And and I know that even when I'm mentoring these young professionals, these like the women that I mentor, like these women are making six figures. These women are on it, smart, intelligent, making money, got it going on, got their own house. They live in that boozy life, that independent life, right? However, sometimes men are intimidated by that, but at the same time, I tell them, and even because I had to learn this about myself, I don't wait for somebody to make me happy.
Right.
I had to learn who Alicia Faye was first, and like learn who I was and love me first. So if my husband has something to do all day, I ain't tripping, because I know how to entertain me. I'm good with me. I'm good with being by myself. And then when we connect, is like this this energy that we have that's amazing. But I don't wait for anybody to make me happy. The happiness comes from within. Happiness is just something that you just have to learn how to possess it for yourself. And if women think like, and I see it, oh, like if he doesn't call me, I feel a certain kind of way. Like, why? Why are you feeling a certain kind of way? Like, entertain yourself. Go do something. Go get your nails done. Treat yourself. And a lot of times that's an issue. And not only with women. I hear this a lot from men as well, Antonio. Like, men wait for women. Like, I think that they wait for women to cater to them. And a lot of times men want women to be like their moms. And we're not your mama, honey. We're not your mama. We're not your baby mama. We are who we are, right? And we want to, and that's why it's important that we all embrace where we are in our journey and living and learning from our past relationships. But one of the things that you and I probably discussed, and I know that you would agree on, when something that I always say that I had to learn the hard way, when you get out of a marriage, whether the marriage was good, bad, or indifferent, you have to take time out for yourself. Don't jump into another relationship immediately or right away. But one thing that I know, when someone does that, is a lot of insecurity. And a lot of us have a lot of insecurities because we don't know who we are. And so we're trying to find this, and we're codependent on the opposite sex to make us happy, to make us feel good, to make and that's not what's up. Now, did I do that? Yes, I've done that before. That's why I tell people now, because I learned from my mistakes. Go ahead. Oh, and we have a couple questions, so go ahead, answer that. And I'm gonna because we have some questions.
Oh, okay. Let's go to the question.
All right, so I have she's a part of our team. Agochi asks, when would you introduce the person that you're dating to your children? Woo-hoo-hoo. Like, when is the appropriate time?
Well,
that's a good question.
To me, right? Because I'm not dating anyone, but I do have a friend that's very interested, right?
Okay.
And so she actually came over. She actually came over yesterday. I cooked breakfast, so we were sitting out eating. And and I asked her, I said, where's your daughter? She has a daughter or whatever. Her daughter's 21. So where's your daughter? I want to talk to your daughter. And it just was kind of to like break that ice for her. So that way, because her daughter knows, like, okay, all of a sudden now I know my mom is gone. I mean, she's 21, so she picking up on stuff. But she would call. It was like we would hang out lately, and like her daughter be calling, like, where you at, mom? Whatever, And she was like, oh, I'm with my friend. So I just told her, I was like, hey, call your daughter. I want to talk to her. But again, when you're a woman, if I would think, and you can attest or chime in at any time, I feel like when it comes down to a woman introducing their kids to somebody that they're seeing, it should be limits. It's just, when I say limits, it's depending on how long you've been seeing this person,
Right.
and that's what it's gonna boil down to. How long have you been seeing them? Because you don't want to introduce your kid to somebody you just met 3 days ago.
Absolutely not. Not even.
Because I mean,
that's true. And not even, you said 3 days, but for me, I was really one of those weird moms, like, because I mean, right? You were there, and I had girls. So I didn't, when I was dating, I wouldn't introduce my children to who I was dating unless I knew that this was like going serious, like somewhere serious, and we probably was gonna be popping the question. Because what we fail to realize is when we start dating people and start introducing men to our children immediately, that is unhealthy. Because what if your relationship doesn't last and then your children now, like, because our kids get attached quick to somebody. And now the relationship.
And so that's the thing. So I don't excuse me. I don't want your fans to think that or your viewers to think like I'm a dog or something. But
no.
I had my other friend that was friends, whatever, and she would come over and bring her daughter. She had 2 beautiful daughters, and they were small kids. And they would come over and I would play with them or whatever, interact with them. But I've known them for a while,
Okay.
But nothing like we didn't date or anything like that. But it's the fact that you brought your kids around me. I don't like stuff like that because kids get attached. You know what I'm saying? Because I had made her daughter cheese toast, and I remember her calling me like, "Oh, I got to make her a cheese toast now because you made her a cheese toast. Now she just want a cheese toast." I don't like stuff like that because of the attachment. If we friends, and that's cool. But I don't like the attachment that comes with that, and then all of a sudden you just take them out of my life. Like, I don't like stuff like that. So I would say to that person with the question, like, know that you see something going further with them, with that person, and if not, I want to do them.
I don't like. For me, it's hard because, and my advice with that is you have to first get to know that person. Make sure that that's somebody that you want to introduce, that you want to even introduce to your family and your friends. Because if it ain't serious, then why would I bring this person into my space? If we're friends, we're friends. If we're dating, we're dating. And if we're in a relationship, that's different. Right. So only people that's relationship status, and I mean like exclusive relationship status, could even come into my space with, hey, I want to meet your children. And me personally, you have to meet my friends first. Because there's a whole gamut of things that goes with that. Like, I need you to meet my friends first and see how my friends, because that's a big component as well. If they don't gel well with your friends, that was that issue, right? And everybody won't like everybody. Mm-hmm. We know that. But my kids were the last, like, because I just didn't involve my children in my personal life like that until I knew that we were serious and we were going somewhere with our relationship. And even now, I'm still dating. people say like, what do you mean you're still dating? Because I don't date to marry. I'm married to date. So I'm married to Torrance, and
Right.
we still date.
Right.
We still date because
And
we
that's good.
we
That's what you need.
still time for each
Yeah.
other. Yes. But meeting your children and all that in the
Yeah.
beginning.
Let's get to the next question.
The next question. Okay, so hold on. Let me read it. I have a question. So I have a personal a question for you. How have dating been different? There's online dating, there's swipe left dating. I didn't get to experience all that, thank God. But how is that? Do you agree with online dating?
Yeah, but also too, I do in a way, but also too, you have to be like cautious too. Like
Because
I've done
people are
online dating
crazy.
before. I've done, yeah. Sure, you mean like just like women say it's weird guys out here, it's like weird women out here. Like when I tell you, like they're
Weird?
weird.
Are you serious? No.
Like yes, like when I tell you like things I get hit with in my inbox or what the women that grew my page and because I'm single, I'm single, so it's man, it's crazy. And I would say this right here, right? If women's gonna put themselves out there, please, like, because I'm one of them guys. I feel like a woman don't have to show their self to
Okay.
present themselves. That makes
Mhm.
sense. Like, I'm just one of them guys where I feel like sexy to me is you cover up and it's just you covered up. Like that's sexy to me. Because all this extra, the little cleavage showing, and that's just sending another signal. You know, that's just another signal. Like it's not saying that, I want to be somebody's wife. Like that's not saying that, or I want a relationship. It's just saying like we're here for the moment.
Right.
Because how you present
But
yourself to
that's
me
what
is how I'm gonna treat you.
society is presenting. That is what the worldview of sexiness is. And so it's only a matter of, do you want someone that is sexy, or do you want someone or you want a lady that's classy, right? Because
Give me,
I feel
but
the
give me
same
that
way.
imagination though. Let me have that imagination. Like let me have that imagination. Let me decide. And I think that's what a lot of time where things go wrong there because you want to keep that man mind uh thinking like, well, man, I wonder what she look like, or you know what I'm saying. Let him fall in love with that appearance of you, just like you're supposed to be dressed, and not revealing anything. Let him guess on that. Let him continue to figure that out because that's like something that he's thinking about.
You're
When
right.
he feel like you are sexy now, God knows what he gonna think about once y'all get to that point. But right
Right.
now, if he starts seeing the glimpse now, he's like, what happened if you gained 10 pounds? And he noticed you gained the 10 pounds because you want fuzzing out a little bit then, but now you're fuzzing out. I can see it like he finna go on to the next one that's full of clothes because right now he ain't looking at none of that because he can't see it.
Wow. Wow.
Women have to carry themselves. I'm old school with it. Women still have to carry themselves. You remember how back in the day that you had to have dresses on and all the way down to your ankles?
No, they're not. Even though that they may do that, that's not really what they're doing now. And because the media, social media, the way of the world, like the worldly view tells our beautiful daughters and our beautiful queens, oh, the more you show, the more attention you will get. And I don't really agree with that. I mean, and of course I'm old school as well.
Yeah, me
I think
neither.
that you should,
Yeah, me
I mean,
neither.
you can be classy and still covered up, but still classy and still sexy. And a
Right,
lot of times, though,
right,
like when I
right.
when I get on social media and when I get on some different platforms, it's like who has. I mean, and now I agree with like just this. A lot of our young queens are on these health kicks which is amazing. Like you see a lot of women taking care of their temples, taking care of their bodies, taking care of their skin, and I love that. However, I think that you should do all things in moderation, and that you should have a certain class and pizzazz about yourself. I still think that
Well,
you know, that whole etiquette about just doing things in excellence in class. I like it.
but but here's another thing too that I wanna say.
Go ahead.
At the end of it all, what's important is still knowing your status. I'm not talking about your single status. I'm talking about your status of knowing what your body has inside, whether you have HIV. I feel like that when you're seeing someone or dating someone, it's important to get tested. Uh, if a woman walks up to me
I think
and
you
I'm
shouldn't
seeing
have
somebody,
sex before marriage. How about that? I think that I mean that's it. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think that I know that's not the way of the world anymore. However, and I'm not
it
gonna say
should
that I
be.
have did it. I'm not gonna lie and say that because that would be totally not true. However, but I think like now we really just need to put life and like you said, things into perspective. A lot of women, because that's mostly who I speak with. And I do have men that are my friends as well that tell that we have these conversations. But I really think that we need to define and wait, like stop giving our treasures, stop giving ourselves, even with men, until you know that this is the person you want to be with. Because like what's that's a whole different topic for a whole different show. But I just think that we should wait so we know that it is like this is a person, and I think that would help us all in a lot of the things that we struggle with, the things that we have to unpack in baggage. Because once you've been with somebody, you that's a whole different gamut of issues and trauma if it doesn't work, and then you have to detach, and it's a lot. And prayerfully one day I want to have this conversation with our viewers in live, because I really just believe if I could tell people and really be honest about dating, you should be worth the wait. You should be
Yeah,
worth
worth
the
the wait. Yeah, worth the wait, but still know the status.
and
At the end
I
of the
get it.
day,
I get it.
yeah.
It's not common for people to not have sex, right? And since we're gonna go there real quick before we got 2 more minutes, 3 minutes before we end the line. But I just think that it would save us all a lot of trauma, even on the male side, because men deal with trauma as well. Men deal with trauma from
Yeah,
relationships
of
as
course.
well as women deal with
All
it.
the time.
And
Yeah, yeah.
I
All
just
the
think that
time.
if we go back to the way that God has designed our lives and our relationships and our marriages to be, we would have a lot of we wouldn't have a lot of all that extra drama. We wouldn't have baby mamas. We wouldn't have like baby daddies, because we would do it the way that God intended it to be, and that it was done right. And no, we don't always do it right. My
And,
God, I
and,
didn't do it all right. But when I learned, and now that I know, I have a different perspective of how things,
mhm.
how I'm gonna live my life is what I'm gonna say. And when I mentor women, I tell them,
But that's the
go ahead. We got 1 minute. Tell us what you got to say. Wrap this whole thing up for us.
but we had one more question though. We had another question that was waiting too.
What is that?
We had a
Well,
question. Somebody had a question.
she was just making a reference. Miss Mary was making a reference
Okay.
about the ankle skirts to the floor, and she was just saying like, even though she had an ankle skirt to the floor and she was dressed modestly, she still raised that ankle skirt up. So it's basically it didn't matter. She
Yeah,
still was like
yeah, it
right.
didn't matter. Yeah,
And
yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's a good conversation to have. And so I'm gonna like put those things in, because it's good, because a lot of times we just, when we know better we do better. and not until you've been hurt
Right.
several times and experienced several relationship failures and breakup. And then at some point in your brain and in your mind, you just start looking at life, looking at relationships. Like I'm going to release the line in just a second. So for me, I look at relationships, whether it's with a man, whether it's with my female friends, with in ministry, whatever that may be. I look at it as an investment. So what am I bringing to a relationship, and what is that person bringing in return to our relationship? And if you are someone who is investing money, you want a return on your investment, right? Every time. Everybody that plays the lotto wants to win, right?
Absolutely.
So we always want to win with anything we do.
Yeah,
So I want to say this in spite of like all the mistakes, because there's a lot of us that made a lot of mistakes because we wanted to be loved, we wanted to feel love, we wanted to be in a relationship, we wanted to give 100% in that relationship, and maybe it didn't work, and it's okay. You get up, dust yourself off, and keep moving. However, in today's time, in dating looks different. There's online dating, internet dating, all kinds of types of dating. But I want us all to go back to loving ourselves and dating the way it's supposed to be, right? Not like, let's just try it out, see what happens.
Yeah, because it's not going to work.
Right, because when you've been hurt people, it's proven. Hurt people, and I don't think that we as a people to heal from our hurt. Automatically, you dress up, go to the club, and go hit the scene, and then you back on, but you never really recovered, and so you bring all those insecurities in your new relationship. Antonio, we really need to have part 2 of this conversation because I know we gotta go.
Hey, real quick though. I know, but real quick. So like for me, I always start healing in a relationship before I go out to it might sound crazy, but I start healing in a relationship before I go out to a relationship. Meaning that when it's done, it's done. So ain't no sense in me staying here instead of trying to fight this and that and fight this and that. I'm already healing already. My mind has already started healing the process of me getting over you already because we had an opportunity to fix it and we did it. So that's why I don't bring that back into another relationship because of the fact that I already healed from that while we was dealing with it.
Wow. Man, that's good. I didn't know men do that.
I do.
All right. Thank you so much for being with us. I'm going to release the line. Hey, we have to have part 2 of this, and I'm going to bring some other guys on because I want to get your perspective of dating and what that looks like, and just like, is it too much? Do women ask too much? And all those things. So thank you so much. I love you, bro. Always. I can't wait till you come to visit with me. Blessings. Yes. Torrance he's probably watching he's going to watch it. So bless you.
But, yeah, you know I'm down. You need me. Call me. Let me know.
Always. Nothing but love. Shout out to Cousin Grace, because we were always the 3 amigos.
Cousin Grace. Shout out to Cousin Grace. I'm telling you.
All right. Love you, all right. Thank you guys for watching.
You too. Y'all be good.
You guys are amazing. Thank you for watching. We hope that you guys have received something from our conversation. We know we had a lot of different rabbit trails we went down, but I want to do a part 2 of this conversation, just dating after divorce and what that looks like. All right, you guys, be blessed. If you have any comments, any concerns, inbox me, send me an email at tqclive@gmail.com. I would love to hear your perspective, your point of views, and just any questions that you may have that are any topics that you want us to talk about. All right, you guys rock. I love you guys. Until next time, see you on Wednesday.